In this video, I am going to show you how to make 3 different types of charts using Microsoft Excel 2013. To get started, you will want to open the salary scale _start file that I provided for you in this module. Your screen should look similar to mine. In this file, you will find 3 different tables. The first one being median salaries for SC education professionals. The next one, Horry County Schools Teacher Salary Scale 2014 to 2015. And the last one at the very bottom is difference in teacher salary, bachelor first master. The first thing we're going to do is create just a simple bar chart. We're going to use this first table to do that. When you're creating a chart, you want to select all of the data that you want to be included in that chart. So I'm going to take my cursor and just select and drag. So all of this data is selected. The next thing I'm going to do is go to Insert. In the middle of my Insert tab, you'll see all of my chart options. There's a lot of different options if you want to create a different type of chart, but I'm going to stick with a simple horizontal bar chart. I'm going to select the down arrow in the horizontal bar charts. You'll see that the options they show have 2 different types of data included in the charts. You can tell because each chart has a white and a gray bar in it, but we only have one type of data in this chart. So I'm going to go to more bar chart options. You'll see I have 3 options right off the bat. The first one is just a typical with a 2 series of data. You can tell at the bottom of the chart where it says series 2 and series 1. I'm going to go over to the right one where there's only 1 series of data, and I'm going to double click that. And here's my chart. So I'm going to move it up a little bit and make it a little bit bigger. Right off the bat, you can tell that this chart needs some editing. The chart title just says chart title. At the bottom, these numbers are all overlapping and they're not legible. So we're going to do some things to make this chart look a little bit nicer and easier to read. To start, I'm going to double click on my chart title and delete the text and change it so it's the same title as my table. I'm going to select off of that because now that's done. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and change these numbers at the bottom so I can actually read what they say. So when I click on that, you can see over to the right hand side of my screen, a Format Access toolbar has appeared. If that doesn't appear for you, you can right click on this data and select Format Access, and then you should see this table on the right. To change this text, I'm going to go to Text Options. I'm going to select this text box, and then I'm going to create a custom angle. Right now it's just a horizontal alignment, but I'm going to change this angle and actually make it -15 degrees. Now you can see that my text is not overlapping. It lines up with the tick marks on the table, and it's just a little bit easier to understand what's going on. But still, I don't really get an accurate idea of how much each one of these salaries is. So I'm going to actually insert my data into my table so I get those exact figures. To do this, I'm going to select this red bar and right click and select Add Data Labels. Now you can see how I have those exact values in my chart. I kind of like the way this looks, but I think it would look even better if this data was inside of my bars. You can tell my bars aren't quite big enough right now for that data to fit. So I'm going to make my bars a little bit bigger by selecting the bars and changing this gap width so it's actually smaller. I'm going to take it all the way down to about 75%. Now my bars are nice and big and my data will fit in there perfectly. To do that, I'm going to select the numbers, and then I'm going to select inside at the base. of the bar. Now that looks okay still, but maybe I want it at the end of the bar instead, so I'm going to select that. Yeah, I like that. But now that my numbers are black and it's in this red bar, it's a little bit hard to read, so I'm going to make one more change. I'm going to select my text again. I'm going to right click and select font, and I'm going to change my font color to white. That gives it just a little bit of pop. That's it for our first chart. Let's scroll on down and work on our next one. So for this one, we are actually going to use two series of data. We want to compare the bachelor salaries to the master salaries. So again, I'm going to select and drag. So this data is selected, and then I'm going to actually let go of my mouse, hit Control on my keyboard, and then click and drag the master column. This way I only get those two columns because I don't need all of the columns. I just want to compare these two. Again, I'm going to go to Insert. This time I'm going to do a vertical bar graph. We do want the two series of data this time, so I'm just going to select that very first one, move that over, make it just a little bigger. Again, first thing you want to do is change that chart title. Now another fun thing you can do with this, I have this blue and red, but I already used red at the top, so I'm actually want to change this red bar to be a different color. So I'm going to select that red bar, I'm going to right click and just change the fill to green. You can also do this by selecting the fill in line on the right hand side and the fill option, and you can change your fill color this way as well. I like the blue, so I'm going to leave the blue. Again, I want to insert my data labels, so I'm going to select the green bars again, right click, add data labels. I'm going to select the blue bars, right click, add data labels. Now my data just looks jumbled, so I want to put my data inside my bars again. I'm going to select these top numbers first, and I'm going to put inside end again. Well, they still look jumbled. They're all horizontal, it doesn't really look right. My bars are vertical this time. So I want to change my text to be vertical. So I'm going to select my text one more time and go to text options, select the text box, and then change my text direction to rotate all text 270 degrees. That makes it vertical. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make this vertical, go back to label options, and do inside end. So now all my text is inside my bars. Again, I want this white. So I'm going to go back to my font and make my text white. And now our second chart is complete. So let's go down to our very last chart. In this last chart, you can see I've added a third column here where it's the additional salary. So it's the difference between the master salary and the bachelor salary. I want to just do the bachelor salary and add that additional salary on top. So I'm going to click and drag to select the bachelor column, let go of my mouse again, hit Control on my keyboard, and click and drag the additional salary column. Go back to Insert. I'm going to use a vertical chart again, and this time I'm going to choose the second one so it's a stacked column chart. Move this down a little. I'm going to change my chart title. I want this chart to match my other one, so I'm going to change this red and make it green. Make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to add my data labels again by selecting the bar and add data labels. Same for the blue. the bachelor figures, I'm going to make vertical and white. And these numbers, I'm actually going to leave them where they are. I could move them to the end of the base, but I kind of liked them centered. And we'll leave them black because they overlap on the white part. So this is a little bit easier to read. I might even fold them. And that is all I have for you. It's very simple to create charts in Excel. Let me know if you have any questions.